Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Breath of Life Conversations, where we discover, transcend, get raw, and have fun with every topic under the sun. And I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Abigail. I'm a professional medical intuitive master healer, and I am humbled, overjoyed, and honored to be joined by the one, the only Kim Arneson, intuitive business coach to the unicorns and bad bitches of the world. And we are here to talk about money, 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 how we make it, how we earn it, how we flow with it, how we do. And so hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk all things money, energetics, the practicality, like all of it. I mean, it's one of the sexiest conversations I think we all love to have. And I think it's one of the conversations we've been conditioned the most not to have.
Yes, yes. So I figured that we would start off with a little bit of something that may because I know you.
Yeah.
Something that's going to jazz you in maybe a good and maybe a bad way. So we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire. It's not that many questions, but a little bit of rapid fire. And it has to be, your answer can only be yes, no, or pass. I'll let you say pass.
Okay. Yes, no, or pass. Fuck, this is great.
And then we'll see where the conversation goes. And we'll just jump right in. Okay. Yes, no, or pass. Those are the rules.
Got it.
You can't justify your answers and
all right. Just straight up yes, no. Yes, no, pass.
Yes.
God, okay. Yes. Okay.
Is money the root of all evil?
No.
Does money make the world go round?
Yes.
Is money only about how you perceive it?
I would lean heavier towards yes than no. Let me say that.
Okay. Does money make money?
Yes.
Okay. And do we need money?
No. Oh, that was so great. That was so complex, all of the intricacies. I love it.
Yeah, I also really wanted to start this way because I feel like you were saying, money, it's a sexy topic, right? Everybody wants it, not everybody has it. We all are wondering how we can make more of it for ourselves and not end up becoming all of the shitty people that we know that have money.
Yes.
Right. And particularly in your industry, in your field, which I would say is very cohesive with mine, right? And this intuitive side of things. This is a topic that so many of us are hearing now, each of us say. I kind of feel like there's no real one person being like, oh, we don't need money. Let's not do that. We don't need to charge for our thing. So each of us are talking about how we should definitely charge what we're worth, and we should make money, and we should have money because we're the important people, right?
Yeah.
We're the special ones.
Yeah.
And so starting this way with these very deep questions that you could definitely go into 1,000 directions, limiting ourselves. Do you think that an exercise like this is something that we should be doing more of to
Sure.
maybe show us the inconsistencies that we have? Or how did you put it in one of your emails, the dirty little brain lies that we tell ourselves or that we have?
Yes.
Or do you feel like something like this, where we put these limitations on our answers, is actually more detrimental?
Okay. So first and foremost, in my eyes, I view money as the energy of money is a very simple topic. However, we as humans have made it so beyond complex, it's unbelievable, right? And because we have been conditioned to believe that money, in fact, is complex, that money is difficult, and there's so many ins and outs and intricacies, it's really tricky to get our minds and our bodies back into coherence with the fact that actually, no, money is just simple. It's just a very simple topic. And so in my ability, or in my personal opinion, what I think is that what we need to be doing is teach people how to be able to discern and critically think and apply the knowledge that they're receiving to be able then to say, like in a rapid fire type of space, like yes, no, da 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 da, to actually be like, okay, like what's actually underneath the surface here? Like, what am I not seeing that this person knows? And those are the questions that I think that we lack sometimes. That in context. Good Lord, is context missing from people's social media accounts, from their opinions, from what they're selling, from the results that they've achieved. Context is missing. And so actually, it's like literally one of my missions with my new brand right now is you'll start noticing, now that I said this, you'll start noticing that I put a lot of context in everything. I just put out a post today how my client hit a 17K launch after years of not receiving those types of results. One of the first things I hit was, here's the context, because I want to make sure that people are seeing what is the whole story. How can I paint a more vivid picture? It's the same thing with money. It's like, how can we paint a more simple yet vivid picture so that people can see the all-encompassing sphere that exists here? Now, the truth is the reason that money is complex to our human is because most people don't understand energetics, right? Most people don't understand that actually we are just energy, and that I'm not this fucking body. I'm just this body for this life, for this moment in time. I do love her and I'm grateful for this vessel that I'm in. And thank you, thank you, thank you. But like, no, I'm actually just energy, and everything in this world is just energy, and energy responds to energy. It is unbiased, right? And like laws of attraction, we know that like similar to similar attracts, like to like attracts. And so what you're attracting into your reality and into your life, into your business, is simply just a mirror of the energy that you are emitting at any given point. But your energy is your thoughts, your beliefs, your conditionings, what exists in you at a cellular structure, at a cellular level, your traumas, the experiences, what you're consuming. Like, your energy is huge. And so for what I have known to be true, the more that I dive deeper and deeper into this, what I know to be true is that there's a lot of people in the spiritual community that talk about like affirmations, and Abigail, we've talked about this, I'm sure of it at some point. They talk about affirmations. They talk about like fake it till you make it, just like just put this person on. But until we actually are fully embodied in that, and that actually like, no, this is my energy, this is who I am, like I actually, my natural thought, my default energy goes right into, of course money comes to me easily, of course I don't have to work super hard for money, of course less is more when it comes to money, or attracting money anyway. Once we're in that state of course, and we're embodied in it, that's what your new frequency is. That's what you're now emitting. But the work that it takes to get to that level, nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to be honest with it, right? Like,
no, and that's the thing that irritates me, I think, so much is exactly that point, that nobody is willing to talk about all of the like the steps. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things. Guys, if you don't know, Kim was not too long ago a part of this very dynamic duo that they called Straight Fire and Flow. They decided to most recently leave this and go their separate ways, still very, very closely tied as humans and friends and besties, but business-wise, they have decided to go their own way and do their own thing. Kim decided to stay within the coaching, business, intuitive, energetic realm, whereas her partner decided to go off and do something very different, and is still like in the works and is living her best life.
yeah,
But staying within this space, one of the things that Kim really had in her back pocket was the fact that they had been doing this.
yes,
They had been doing this. This isn't her jumping from an entirely different sort of realm or business.
Right.
This is something that she had been working on for decades now, guys. Decades. She's been in the business of business
Yeah.
and making money and learning. And within this new brand, of which is her, which is Kim, I am Kim, and I'll link all of her stuff in the show notes, um, is that she is showing you on this new account all of the things that she has done and has been doing, and how she got to where she is now, and why she can just drop a new account and with like almost no followers. Like in the
Right.
grand scheme of like how influencers and
Yep.
shit works on social media across almost every platform, Instagram and TikTok in particular, still is making 5 or 6 figures every
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yep.
So like not telling, you're to get back to my point, this new brand, she's showing you. She's showing you all the things that she does, that she has been doing. So this isn't like it was drop poof and she like made one post and it like blew up and like no, but
Yeah.
you watch her is doing all of these things that she's telling you to do. I, for one, will tell you, it looks exhausting. I read your last email that you posted because of course, on your email list and a religious follower. And she posts 5 or 6 times a day.
5 or 6 times a week. 5 or 6 times I do 5 to 6 times a week posts, but I do 1 to 3 posts per day.
Okay, there we go. So one to three a day. I will tell you, she is more on the like heavier side of that.
Yep.
It's more like 3 times a day, guys. Um, I know that she doesn't really post, you don't really post on weekends usually. Um, but Monday through Friday, it is consistent. It is at least 2 emails a week that I
Yep.
see coming through.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like looking at that, like as an outside person who is like, oh my God, I'm just like starting. I know nothing about business. I haven't spent decades in like the business of business. I'm just now learning all of these things about marketing and branding and messaging and all of these things. That looks exhausting.
Yeah. And it's the wildest thing. I love this conversation because you guys, it's not exhausting at all. Like when I say this is going to sound so outlandish, but it's real. So I work 24 hours a week. I work 24 hours a week. Like I clock my hours basically Monday through Thursday. I work from 10 to 4 essentially. And then I post and I get in on Instagram on Fridays, and I'll get in on Saturdays and whatnot. But when all of the time that I spend like on content creation and actually being on Instagram and being on TikTok and like being in that space, I have just become so proficient at what I do and what I can reflect and what I want to share with my community that I'm maybe on Instagram for an hour total a day. It just it's perceived like, oh my God, she's in there all the time. Like that's all she's fucking doing. And I know that that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like she just got off a client call. Now she's spending the next hour in Instagram, and then she's going on a client call, and then she's going to go do that. And it's actually not like that. It's so much slower. It's so much slower in between. I think a lot of what it is it's like, first and foremost, I have built this up. Just like Abigail said, I started running a business when I was 22 years old. And I am now about to be 36. So since I was 22, I've been developing the skill set of what it takes to build out businesses, what it takes to lead a team, what it takes to switch your marketing, the emotional intelligence when it's time to stop and eat some fucking crow and actually do what it is that you need to be doing that's completely different. Like I've developed this internal capacity over, gosh, I'm terrible with math. That's 14 years, like over 14 years. And I would say that the last last almost 4 years now, I guess, the last 4 years have been the most influential, right? Because that's when I pivoted into online. Once I grew these businesses, I did what I was doing, and then I moved and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this for me now. I'm going to do this on my own. And I became an online entrepreneur. It was like, okay, so now I have to learn an entirely new skill set. Yes, I knew marketing. Yes, I knew community, but I knew how to do that in person, right? Like I knew how to establish word of mouth and brick and mortar. That's what I was. And so that was easy. But then shifting into online, it was like, fuck, this is all brand new to me. What do I have to learn? Like, I have to let myself be a beginner. I have to be willing to fail forward again and again and again. I have to be willing to show up and post and know that, hey, I might not make any fucking money for the first couple of months, but that every single day I'm putting more and more into my liquid bucket of gold, right? Like that a year from now, I'm going to have an entire bucket of gold swinging with me, all this content, all this idea. And now it's like, content just flies through me. Anything that I feel like I want my community to know, anything that I feel like, oh my God, I want to serve my people. I want to help them grow their business. I wish that they knew more about this when it came to messaging. I wish they knew this about branding. I try to give that all so that literally, if you wanted to, you could just sit on my account and read it all and start taking action. You don't even have to fucking pay me. I like legitimately believe so deeply in the fact that entrepreneurship and humans exchanging energy for their innate wisdom and gifts and the experiences they have is actually the way of the future. I think that's the way we empower our people. That's the way we teach people how to love themselves, to value themselves, to respect themselves. I'm picking up my old dog really quick. To value themselves. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people build out their businesses, because I really truly believe that the work they're doing in the world is shifting us on a collective level we could never even comprehend, right? And we know quantum entanglement, we know what's occurring here is occurring elsewhere. And so we know that this work is actually transcending realms, transcending dimensions. We can't even see how big of a shift this is, the ripple effect, how big it is. And that excites me. That's the thing where I'm like, fuck, I could like do this. I want to do this for the rest of my life because I'm actively wanting your mission, wanting your work to get into the hands of people that absolutely need it. And so for me, it's this space of like focusing deeply on service. I will give all of my knowledge away because the truth is most of my knowledge, you can Google it. Get your ass on YouTube. It is free 99. You know what I'm saying? Like it is free. It's just that I've spent so much time studying it. I've now accumulated it all. I now have the lived experience to say, actually, that was a bunch of bullshit. And this is where you should be focusing. And so that's what people come into my world for. It's that and like the actual support, because learning the information is one thing. Having somebody that's already paved the path for you, that knows what to do by your side, that can shift things, that can help you get there quicker, of course, that's worth it. And so that's why I'm more than happy to create so much content that hopefully moves people, that hopefully gives people more clarity. And at the same time, yes, I mean, this month absolutely blew my mind. What Abigail is saying, I will 100%. This fucking month absolutely blew my mind. I had less than 120 followers, less than 120 followers on Instagram. And I hit $10,000 in my first 29 days online. That doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people who know about money and know about the algorithms and know about business would immediately hear that and they would say it's because of everything you had done before.
Sure.
Like they would immediately go to that space and say, well, it has nothing to do with what is occurring right here. You had this like built up foundation that you just were able to like take it, and you would then hear the like naysayers, the newbies, the people who are saying, I'm just starting, I'm making a career change. I'm going from being a lawyer to wanting to help, mothers and children online. And, it's two very different, it's not like they're saying, oh, well, I was a family lawyer and now here, no, I like literally want to like find housing for people or something.
Sure.
And then, and they're going, well, how do I do this with just my family following me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
their 120 followers are literally their closest friends and family, none of whom are their target audience.
Yeah.
And I think this is where what you were saying about, or trying to give your one word answer of like, this is how money is money, how we perceive it.
Yeah.
Right. And really, I guess we could broaden this topic just a bit and side of money and say success, right? Success is how we perceive it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is the perfect example. And you guys, I don't mean this from an egotistical sense. I don't mean this. I'm not even trying to blow smoke up my own ass. This is just the truth of it. So one of my past clients actually reflected this back to me yesterday. I was like, oh shit, you're right. When I started my first business, previously I was a preschool director. That was the business that I ran, and I ran that for 11 plus years. When I moved into spiritual life coaching, I like fucked around for the first 6 months. And I mean it. I fucked around for the first 6 months. I believed that I was very naive. Let me say that. I, for some reason, decided to table all of my business knowledge and all of my business awareness. And I went into the spiritual world and I was like, oh, well, everybody just says, as long as you're in alignment, as long as this is your purpose, it happens like that. Like, I don't have to do my business stuff. I get to be this way. I get to show up in service. And so I did that for 6 months. And over 6 months, I think I called in like 4 clients, something like that. All honestly at 4-figure investments. So even that was like kind of wild, right? Like even that was wild. But then the minute that I decided I was going all in, and this is when my business partner came in and decided, hey, I want to do this with you. So the two of us get together and we said, we're going all in. We're going to invest in our first group program. Like I want the energy of other people. That month was a $20,000 month. That didn't make any sense, right? And so then a year and a half goes by and I realized, my God, like I've been totally shutting down this business side of me because there was a part of me at the time that had not fully healed from my wounded masculine energy. And so I was perceiving business as a wounded masculine hustle culture type of thing. Anywho, I pivot into business. That first month, I think we had a $15,000 month. Like that didn't make sense. This is now the third time that I've hit 5 figures when I've started fresh. And like, that's the space where it's like, is there truth in the fact that absolutely my foundation helped me create these results? Duh, of course. Is there also truth that I only had 80 followers follow me from my previous 46,000? That's right. How like slow our account was moving at the time. I only had 80 people. I grew 40 new people in that month and I still hit 5 figures. But it's like, it's this and, right? We talk about this all the time, right? It's both a foundational aspect. I had the tools, I had the skill set, I knew it, I did the work, all of these things. And it was also really fucking magical and it didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And so like, I think that's the space for me when I look at money just in general. This is like my biggest piece of advice that I've really been leaning into heavy lately. I think people they put this responsibility and this pressure on money to liberate them. Right? We look at the money as the ultimate liberator. We're going to have, if only we had X amount of dollars, I wouldn't be in debt. I would be able to have the resources to grow my business. I would feel more free. My husband and I would be able to go do da. I'd be able to take my kid here. We put the pressure and the responsibility on money to be the liberator. But what we're missing is that we have to liberate ourselves from money in the first place. You are the liberator from money. And once you liberate yourself from what money means and the pressure and the grip and the responsibility you're putting on that, more money comes into your reality. because money wants to be expressed through you. It wants zero pressure, zero gripping. It wants to be fun. It is simply just an energy. And if this helps anybody, the way that I've been perceiving it lately, and honestly, the last several months, is that the energy of money is no different than me. We are cut from the same cloth. It is the exact same thing. Think about yourself for a second. Do you want the pressure and the responsibility put on yourself to have to liberate you, your family, your ancestors? How does that feel on your system? How does that responsibility, that weight of that, doesn't that feel a little bit like there might be a little bit of a boulder on my back? There might be a little bit of this heaviness of like, okay, yes. And also cool because like, I'm so glad I get to be this person, right? But there's a little bit of like a back and forth pull. What if you were to alleviate that? What if you had the resources? What if you believe deeply you were already well resourced and supported to be able to do that? You don't have to put the pressure on. It's just happening. If you can adopt that same mentality and start to put that and infuse that into your relationship with money, with the energy of money, you're doing more of a dance. You're doing more of a play. And that feels better. That feels better on your nervous system. It feels better on the energy of money. And you kind of go into this like beautiful little exchange that exists. But I think like this is the space we're back to. We don't talk about the level of work it takes to get to that space.
Yeah, and it goes very heavily into, I think, the biggest part of your business, which is teaching people the energetics of it. And I have a friend of mine that I posted something recently that really, like, as you were talking, I was like, yep, that's exactly what she was talking about as far as like the energy of money and that playfulness. She uses the term energy is a neutral, or excuse me, money is a neutral energy.
Yeah.
It's not good and it's not bad. It's not for you or against you. It's not, it's not any of that. It literally is neutral and it will go wherever, it needs to or wants to go, or who is like calling it, more so than where it itself wants to go.
Yep.
Because and the way that I think about it is money doesn't have a mind in that sense. It
No.
doesn't have a consciousness. And in fact, it can't, because it's something that came out of our conception, out of our minds as a
Yep.
consciousness. We conceived of money or just things having value. So it goes so heavily into what you do, I would say more on the forefront than anything else, really. And guys, we worked with Kim now twice, like actually invested money into her or her business, however y'all want to look at it. And I would say 99% of what I learned in those spaces had nothing to do with strategy or like content, like how to do things, how to measure. Granted, like at one point, it was probably not probably, it was like the first thing I ever did with her. I went through most of it and I took everything in. And then the unhealed part of me was like, we don't know enough. We don't know enough. And she's not teaching me enough just on her own. So let me go to her and say, I need you to teach me this because I don't know it. And I don't know what I'm doing. And I'll tell you, it was useful to have the information. But once I had it, I understood that my consistency within my business really wasn't the foundation of it. It was really nice to have. Let me tell you, like, I make consistent money in my business where I want to be. I'll get there. But I make consistent money in my business. So I tell you, it's not because I'm consistently posting 3 times in a week or a day or whatever. Like I will be very, very honest with y'all. Especially lately, and I know why, I know the reason, but lately, let's say the last 3-4 months, I've been really fucking inconsistent. consistent with like getting online. I used to be so consistent, but I haven't been, but I still make consistent money in my business
Yeah.
every month. And I know that that has everything to do with what Kim is talking about, with being energetically available and open and saying, this is what I'm worth. This is what my mission is. And when I show up in that. I show up in that energy, knowing what it is that I'm meant to give and being able to deliver that instead of being like, I don't know, and I need to go and learn, and I need to go and throw more money
Yeah.
here,
No,
here,
you
at this
don't.
person, this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so really when you I think I should say it like this. It's so beautiful that there's finally more people like you who are saying, I can teach you the strategy. I can teach you how to word things in a way that is more accessible to people or sexier to people.
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, like, let me turn this back around and remind you, it doesn't matter how sexy, appealing, accessible, or any of that stuff is. If people are looking at it, feeling your energy going, oh,
My
oh my
God.
God, it
Yes.
doesn't really matter.
That's literally it. Well, and that's the space. It's like there's so many different layers to it. Like, and I, like I feel like so I'm a human design reflector. A lot of my private clients will say to me, like, oh my God, I just got reflectored because like I will literally like turn something around and it'll be like, they'll share their copy with me. They'll share an email that they're about to send out to their crew. And I will read it and I'll look at it and I'm like, okay, so you see this paragraph. Do you see how all of a sudden you just minimized your story here? And instead you gave the credit to a previous mentor. You gave the credit to the universe here. You gave the credit elsewhere. Why are you diluting your power? Why won't you own your power? Do you understand that if you can't own your power, if you can't show up in that, you can't showcase that, your energy is not in its full vibrancy. So people don't feel the potency because you're sitting here, you're putting holes in your own energy field because you're not willing to hold it. You're not willing to see how beautiful and how profound and how wise you are and the experience you have. And so it's like not only does your energy just naturally, like everybody sees this, like you get online and you talk to somebody and you're like, oh, there's something about this person. It's making me go away from them. Or you get online and all of a sudden you're like, what is this person? I just like want to be in her world. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I want to watch your stories all day, every day. It's the energy for sure. But that energy also exists in your copy. It also exists in your email. So even when you're not on screen and people can't see you, your energy is felt. Your energy is always felt. And that's the space that people, and I'm just going to say this, like, I think there are so many business coaches and there are so many people in the spiritual community, period, who are out to make money. Like this, their end goal is money, right? And I'm not saying like you can't have a drive to make money. I want to make money too. But the way in which they're doing it is they're selling something that isn't quite attainable in the way in which they're selling it. And they're not being honest at the level of work that is required to clean up your energy and really in your business, but it's really in your personal life. To be able to see yourself at the deepest layers and say, oh my God, you're a fucking bad bitch. Like, damn, you get to be this person. You created this person. You became this person. Look at what you overcame. Look at the knowledge. Look at your drive. Look at your devotion, your mission, your service. Like, oh my God, I love you. I respect you. I value you. Do you see how being in that energy, like, of course, the universe is just, it's an unbiased source that's responding to you. When you have that energy, what does it do? It gives you more opportunities to see how much you can love yourself, how much you can value yourself, how much you can respect yourself. It gives you more things to bounce off of so that you can see yourself in that. Like I look at my clients and as they're doing the things they're doing, I'm like, oh my God, I literally cannot believe you were this person and now you're this person. You used to show up this way and now you're showing up this way. Like, oh, it activates the fuck out of me. I genuinely, like, that's what I do, why I do what I do, because I literally get so activated seeing you become who you always were, but you wouldn't let yourself be. And that's the space, like that's what money is really responding to. And like that's the other aspect. It's like, I heard you say this earlier, and I just want to say this. Like, I don't believe that this is about charging our worth. I really don't believe that. I believe that this is more so about separating the fact that money does not equate to your worth in the first place. So you can charge whatever you want because money's just money. Your people will find you. There are people out there who prioritize whatever your niche is. If you're a medical intuitive, there are people out there who are literally like, I am in pain, I am hurting, I'm suffering. I will prioritize this. I want you. They don't care how much they don't care how much you're charging. There are people at every single price point, at every single level, but you have to decide, hey, this is the level that I belong in. This is the space my body can hold. This is what's regulated and normalized to me. I don't get wonky or scared about calling in a $5,000 day or a $20,000 month. Because I'll tell you what, people think you want the money. It's like, oh, of course I could take $20,000. Tell you what, the first month, you've heard me say this story. The first month that I made $20,000, my nervous system shut down for 12 fucking weeks. 12 fucking weeks. I was terrified. The weight and the pressure and the responsibility of helping other people, of serving other people, giving people results fucked me up. I made like $1,000 a month after that for like 2 or 3 months because of how fucked up my nervous system was. If you can't hold it, that's where the real work is, right? Not only is it in seeing yourself, but learning to be able to hold and regulate what those feelings, those sensations are like in your body. The more that you can feel, the more you're willing to feel in a sensation sense, the more you can hold. And that's how money then knows it's safe to be with you.
Yes. So question then. So hearing all of this, money, it sounds like, right, that money then flows to these individuals that have their idea on the goal, on the path, on their mission. Okay. How you describe how money flows and who it's going to flow to. These people are like good people, right? Sounds like they've got their, they're doing their work, they're healing. They're not perfect, they're showing up. They're showing up for themselves. But then I look at how society looks at the billionaires of the world.
Yep.
And how I hear a lot of people, and I've been known to say it, that those people aren't doing enough, that they're not showing up enough in the world. So they must be just trash panda people.
Trash panda. Oh my
God. Like, they must be.
I love it.
They have billions of dollars and the world is in garbage there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally. So I look at it from,
how do you have people reconcile this?
Yeah. I look at it from many different perspectives. So the one perspective is energy, right? And I've said that, I think I've said this to you before too. You can grow your business in whatever energy you want. Like, there are shithole human beings out there. I'm just going to say it. There are shithole human beings out there who are making a fuck ton of money. Why? Because they have really sexy, manipulative, unethical marketing. That's it. They're selling something that is, they have sexy marketing. They have sexy marketing. That's what it is. Your marketing will sell. Your messaging will sell. And again, God, source, universe, money, it doesn't care if you're doing good or bad. That's the truth of it. It's unbiased in nature. And so these individuals who they don't have good heart, they don't have good intent, they're still collecting $1, while you, who has good intent, won't even try. See what I'm saying? And so like, that's the space, and not you, you know what I mean? And so like, that's the space where for me, it's like, I want to awaken people to recognizing that this is possible for them, because I actually do believe that if from this is a mundane, thick, dense human energy I'm talking about right now, from that energy perspective, if we get money in the hands of people who actually care, what's going to change? My body's activated. This is deep truth. I can feel it in my body. If me, for instance, like I've already said this over and over and over again, I don't want a big house. I don't want a lot of fucking things. I don't. I'm a pretty simple individual. I am not some brand whore, if you want to say it. I'm just not that individual. Like that's not how I function. Am I bougie still? Yes, I want to travel. I want to experience. I want to go out to dinner with my husband and not bat an eye at a bill. Like that's what I want. But I want a tiny little house and that's about it. The rest of that money, where's it going to go? Well, I can't wait to see where I put it because it's not going to stay with me. That's the truth of it. And so that's where I look at it as going, I don't judge those billionaires because that's the other thing. I don't want to judge anybody about their money, period. I've judged people long enough unconsciously for the amount of money they were making. I declared that money was bad, that you must be greedy, you must be evil, you must be all these bad things. Declared all that. Did that once before. I don't want to judge these billionaires for it, but I also want to set the standard for myself and for those that come into my world. And what we're doing is that you're getting rich to make others rich. You're getting rich to make this world rich, rich in life, rich in love, rich in health and vitality and a new way. That's the difference. And so money flows to anybody. Like that's the other aspect I think that as light workers, as people that like, I think that's a hard concept for us to understand. As empaths, sometimes it's hard for us to understand that God, source, universe, energy in general, it doesn't care. Like you don't have to have the deepest, best heart in the entire world. Like, and if you have a day where you're like, God, I just really want to go spend a bunch of fucking money and do my thing, like that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't mean that you've gone away from service. That doesn't mean that you're not in alignment anymore. Like those individuals that are making that money without your same goodness and same heart and same intent, they're not thinking about that. And it continues to flow in because of that. So stop, like, it's almost like I'm going to say this, and this is such a tricky little metaphor for people, but my husband will say this to me in a joking, most loving manner. If I'm like too much like convicted in my knowing in that minute, he'll be like, okay, Kim, like we need the wood come down off the cross. And this is that same thing, right? Like sometimes we put ourselves up on this like cross and we can't come down from it. And we have to stay in line with it. And I'm like, no, bitch, I don't care if you fall down off the cross. I don't care if you fall down, you break the goddamn cross. I still want you to have more money than these individuals. So let's fucking go. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I love that. I love that analogy. And I really hope that I do. I really know it will. But I do. I love it. I also love that your husband will say it like, we need the woods. Like,
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
We have fires to light. All right. Let's burn the sucker down.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense. And I agree with you. I think that people are going to continue to have a hard time with this reconciling of like a number of points. One, that money is neutral. It really is unbiased. It's going to flow to whoever either has enough energy or enough strategy to get it to come.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like, and it really doesn't matter which one you have more of. Go into what feels right for you. And I think that's the other point that I think some people, maybe in particular light workers, are going to struggle with the most, is that it really doesn't matter which one you want to lean into. Go ahead and lean into whichever one you feel is going to be the most powerful for you. And I say that it's going to be triggering, that is going to probably be triggering for light workers, because light workers are always all about becoming conscious.
Yeah.
And it sometimes triggers us, and I'll put myself in it. I feel like I've grown enough over time that I'm no longer in that space. I was at one point. I won't negate myself. That really would bother a lot of us to see people who were unhealed. And at that point, it came to me that I was like, if I'm triggered by people being unhealed, unawakened, unconscious, whatever word you want to use, in any topic or any area, then I cannot possibly be as awakened as I think I am. And so
Ah,
it was the
love it.
day that I was like, saw or heard somebody say something, and I was like, you know, that I was like, okay, people making choices. In fact, I made a post about this just recently. Um, and it was born out of what's going on in the Middle East right now.
Yes.
Was that, you know, we have to understand that duality exists without giving it value, without assigning it value.
Yes.
And as soon as you do that, you are way more awakened than you ever thought yourself to be, because it is those people that you coach, that you teach, that you're preaching to, saying, you know what? Allow yourself to let go of what they're doing. Let go of what the billionaires are doing. Let go of where they're putting their money. Let go of whatever structures they've got in place, whatever reasonings they're giving themselves. Come back to you.
Yeah.
Come back to you and what it is that you are passionate about, that you want to do. How do you want to be? What do you want to have?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually matter about any of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's about how you want to be, how you want to show up. Kim doesn't want a big house. I don't want a big house. I know I'll have one only because I'll have the rest of my family.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
with me. And that's like my mind. I'm like, and I've got my little section, and there's going to be a wall and a door and maybe even a passcode that they in order
Yes.
to get through the door.
Yes.
But this whole driving back and forth thing, like that's gotta stop.
No. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much.
You know, so it's like it is that, and understanding like we can have the same outcome with having very different um reasons for why we want to get there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like we can both
It's
make a shit
all
ton of money.
welcome. It's literally all welcome. And I think like that's just to speak to the duality aspect that you're talking about with giving it no meaning. I think like, you know, that the biggest hang up, this is from a reflector standpoint, when I reflect back the health of our very unwell society that exists, it's our inability to hold multiple truths at once. If that skill set alone was taught, if we lived in a world and recognized we do live in a world that is not black and white, so much would open up, right? We do not have to pick sides. We do not have to decide you're right or you're wrong in order for me to be right. That's not true, period. And then in addition to it, it's like we are so taught to look at everything else, to judge everything else. And so like when you were saying like judging these billionaires, what if you just started to recognize that this is just a distraction? It's distracting you. It's taking you away from your point of your goal. It's taking you away from the set point that you created, the goal, the vision that is in your contract, that's in your being, that's in your blood. That's all a distraction. Stop getting distracted, right?
Mhm.
Like, don't let yourself be distracted by other people. Focus on you. Your energy is the number one currency. If you decide to go spend it on gossiping about other people or viewing other people's content and wondering why you don't have what they have, you are distracted. Come back to the point, come back to your center, come back to your truth and move in that knowing, that conviction, that devotion again and again and again. And you're going to get somewhere so much faster than if you sit here and you start to look out into the world at what everybody else is having and why they have it and why you don't have it. And, oh, maybe I should do it their way. No, 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 baby, come back home.
Yes, I could not have planned a better conversation. Kim, thank you so much for being here. I know that there's so many nuggets and valuable pieces of information that you shared here today. I really hope that the listeners will take heed, take notice, come back home, as you said. And you guys, seriously, if you are not following this chick, please do so immediately.
Thank you.
Immediately.
Thank you for having me, Abigail. This is great.
You guys, this has been an amazing conversation. I hope that you will join us again for our next one. This is going to be an incredible, amazing season. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Get all up in the notifications and the comments. Please, please, please comment about how you're feeling about this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What is it that stood out to you? How are you feeling about this conversation? And do you feel like we should be having more of this? This world is full of really beautiful, amazing opportunities. Please do not miss out on the ones that are meant for you. I am so overjoyed that you have been here with us. I love you. Mwah. See you next time.